Hello everyone and welcome, Dawn here. Today I will be making a cute St. Patrick's Day card using the new red rubber stamp basket. To start, I'm going to stamp the basket using my MISTI in case I want to double stamp the image. Because it's a rubber stamp, you will need to take the foam insert out of your MISTI in order to get a good impression. I'm going to start by putting masking paper over the flowers on the stamp because I only want to stamp the basket and not the flowers. So I just cover them up as best as I can. Then using the Distress Oxide ink Vintage Photo, I ink up the stamp really well. When I'm ready to stamp the image, I take off the masking paper, otherwise ink will get all over your paper. I press down really good to give it a good impression. As you can see, I got a little ink on the paper, but it doesn't matter because I'll be cutting it away anyways. Next, I color the basket using my Copic marker. I used E35 to color it in. I didn't do anything special. I didn't have to do any blending really because the Vintage Photo was darker than the Copic marker, so it gave the look of shading for me. There are a few flowers left on the front of the basket and I just colored them in brown because I will cover them up with the clovers later anyways. Next, I fussy cut all around the basket. It's a pretty simple image to cut out. I cut out the space between the handle and the basket so I can make it look like the clovers are in the basket when I assemble the card. When I'm done, I take the same brown marker and I go around all the edges of the basket to cover up any white that is showing. Using the new St. Patrick's Day gold stamp set, I stamp a bunch of small clovers. And I did end up stamping one big clover that I used on the card, but you don't see me stamping it here. I color in the clovers using alcohol markers. I picked two different colored greens. I used Forest Glades and Frayed Leaf. I didn't do anything special on the coloring, so I'm not going to show much of it. I just wanted to show you a little bit of it. Next, I fussy cut all the clovers out. They're pretty simple images to cut out, so I'm not going to have you sit and watch me cut them out. Using my Distress Oxide inks, I ink blend a background. I chose to use Mowed Lawn for the grass and I used Tumbled Glass for the sky. Using my blending tool, I go back and forth trying to keep a light hand because I don't want the background to be very dark. I keep a scrap piece of paper off to the side where I tap off some of the color so I don't get any harsh spots on my paper. Using the Whimsy stamped Wavy pierced rectangle dies, I cut out the background. Then using the same dies, I use the next size up and I cut out a green background. Once I have my backgrounds cut out, I start to assemble the card. I glue the background panel to the green cardstock. I put foam tape on the back of the basket and place it where I want it to go on the card. Using my black alcohol marker, I go around all the edges of the clovers so you don't see any white that might be showing. Then I take the Frayed Leaf green marker and just make little grass marks on the grass area. I just used upward strokes and I was barely touching the paper. I quickly lay out where I wanted my clovers to go just to give me an idea, and then I set it aside to make the banner. I place the stamp in my MISTI and using black ink, I stamp the outline of the banner. Then I place the St. Patrick's Day sentiment inside the image and stamp it again with the black ink. I fussy cut the banner out. It was very easy to do. Then I took my black marker and went around all the edges so you can't see any white that was left from cutting it out. It just gives it a nice finished look. Then I line up my banner where I want it to go on the card, but I don't glue it down yet because I plan to put foam tape on the back of it to raise it up and it will make it harder to stamp the words. First I stamp the word happy above the banner and then the word day below the banner. I put foam tape on the back of the banner and adhere it to the card. Next, I glue all the clovers to the card where I want them to go. Some of the clovers I put foam tape on the back of them and some of the clovers I just glued straight to the card. Then I adhere my panel to a piece of cardstock folded to 5.5 by 4.25. That completes my card for today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos and new product releases. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a wonderful day.